In this video, I'd like to start the soapbox series. I'd like to talk about this culture of disposable vehicles and what that has created kind of in the automotive world and automotive society in general. For the time being, our infrastructure in the US, because of how big we are, our infrastructure kind of worldwide, because of a lot of different factors, is based around ownership and use of automobiles, transportation devices that crawl along the ground on these round snaky wheel things. It's not going to change anytime soon, so I'm not here to make the argument for or against automobiles and automobile culture. What I'd like to talk about is kind of the despicable and disgusting evolution of the disposable culture that has crept its way into the automobile world. Yes, automobiles, they get old, newer technology comes out, new gadgets and new things that you want come out for automobiles that are either too hard or too time consuming or too expensive to retrofit into your older car. Maybe you've gotten tired of a sedan and you want a coupe. Perhaps the little pickup simply isn't doing you enough and you need a larger pickup. Whatever the case may be, there's always valid reasons for going out and purchasing a new vehicle or purchasing a new to you vehicle that has new features or new equipment or whatever. That's perfectly fine. My issue is OEMs getting on board with this disposable culture, the planned obsolescence, specifically now with planned software obsolescence. There's always going to be the hackers, the people that get in there, they figure out how to fix it before it breaks, or when it breaks, they figure out how to fix it and get people back in their vehicles and back to functioning again. But automobiles are not the kind of thing, it's not the kind of industry that needs to be disposable. That's like saying, my house is disposable. I'll buy a new one every year because I don't like the paint color. Or my leg's disposable. I'll just chop it off and buy another one. It's not the kind of thing that is disposable. There are always people that need cars. There are always people that they can't afford a brand new car. So if you want a new car and you've got an older car, donate it or sell it for cheap or give, some way, get it to these people that actually need cars, right? That's one way you could not disposable your car, by just sending it to the junkyard and trashing it. And I've had a thought for a few years that what we could do, perhaps, is OEM modular cars, right? So some people have started to actually come on board with this kind of idea. Some people have started trying to make this idea a reality, and I think who was it? Was it GM or Hyundai? One of them. It was either GM or Hyundai that had the idea for modular EVs, where the motor and drive system is all self-contained on sort of a driving platen, if you will, and then whatever you need, if you want a sedan to haul around yourself and your family, you drop a sedan body on it. If you want a pickup to haul some lumber and some drywall for a project, you go down, you rent or buy. I think they had a rental idea too. You put a pickup body on it and you drive a pickup. If you want a van, you get a van, right? Modular kind of thing. You could extend that a little bit further and have those modular body pieces, each their own, have modular interiors that you could design. You could have bench seats or bucket seats that just kind of snap in place. You could have radios with and without GPS, with and without Wi-Fi, with and without all the various bits and bobs and technological pieces that you could just swap out on a whim. And then you could potentially see a very large market in the OEM and or aftermarket modular vehicle components. As it stands today, what you end up getting is OEMs design a vehicle, they make enough parts to last the dealerships their repair cycles for, I think, 5 years is the general consensus. Some of it extends up to 7, depending on what it is, like depending on the parts, or depending on platform sharing, which is also something that OEMs have done in the past, but moved away from, which is also despicable. Platform sharing is phenomenal. The last time somebody tried it, I believe, was Dodge a few years back, and they didn't really do it with the vehicles so much as they did it with engines, transmissions, powertrains, right? Most of that stuff they tried to make modular, and it was terrible. The whole series of stuff, it was terrible. That's that 3.7, 4.7, 5.7 modular engine and the mating transmissions and all that stuff. It was just... I do plan on making OEM specific soapbox videos, so look for those down below if I've posted them yet. So it's kind of a side effect of this whole disposable culture that everybody seems to be moving towards is the lack of knowledge of the thing in question, right? So phones, disposable phones. You can no longer open a phone and replace its battery easily if the battery gets old. You can't. They don't have SD cards anymore. You don't have headphone jacks anymore. We're removing all these incredibly useful items from these different machines and different industries that people want, but the OEMs think is too expensive to manufacture, right? And that's leading to a culture of people just getting an object, using it for something that they want to use it for, and then just chucking it in the bin. And that's not good. Look at the e-waste problem that we have right now. We have nowhere to get rid of most of this stuff. Lithium batteries are a whole other thing. That's not disposable culture. That's prematurely moving into a technology without having a plan for end of life, which we're human. That's what we do, apparently. So I think something really needs to change in our cultures worldwide. Not every culture is the same. Not every culture is jumping on board the disposable train. The US has done so very heavily, and I think it's absolutely terrible, and something needs to change. We need to have either some method of reusing these things or regulations for specific design characteristics for specific types of devices, like lithium battery packs for phones, we'll say, or lithium battery packs for automobiles, for EVs. Various OEMs in the industry should get together and come up with standardized methodology such that you can take a Nissan Leaf battery out and stick it in your Tesla Model S because the packs are all identical, or something like that. I understand why OEMs don't want to do that. They're afraid of losing the business, because now if you have packs that you can get from anywhere, why come to us to buy them? Honestly, the people who are going to take the time and the research and the effort to DIY it, and they're going to try to put a different part in the thing anyway, they're going to do that regardless. You can't stop them. The people who are not going to do that are going to say, hey, we need a new battery for my EV. I'm going to go down to the dealership, or I'm going to go to this aftermarket company after the OEM's end of life, and I'm going to get a replacement for this vehicle. Those people are still going to do that. That's not going to change. Okay, there's no need. You can platform share across the entire industry for some of these things that we have no method of disposing of some of this, especially the specialty things, right? Absolutely, we need standardization for this stuff. Kind of the last thing I want to say is I want to reiterate the disposable culture is absolutely despicable. It's disgusting. It's manufacturers trying to boost profits at the expense of the environment, at the expense of the customer, at the expense of name a problem that we've created by it. I am on board with the right to repair. I am on board with DIYing everything you possibly can. I'm on board with OEMs coming up with systems of standardizations to alleviate some of this waste problem that we've generated by creating this disposable culture.